Friends, welcome back to the channel. Sarah from Ink and Hue again, back again with another video. I'm very excited for today's video. We are kicking off a brand new series which I'm going to run through for the whole month of February, probably across 4 videos I reckon. And we are going to be working in Wondrous Folk by Karron, and the page that we are going to be working on across the whole month is Onyx. I'm very excited to color this page. So you would have seen by the title and the thumbnail of this video that we are doing a video today and the series on using mixed brands of pencils on the one coloring page. Yes, and I'm not just talking about doing oil-based here, wax-based over there, you know, We're gonna mix it all together because I've really been getting into this of late and I'm very, very excited to dive into this topic with you. So again, this will be a tutorial style video and the whole series as well, where I'll be talking throughout the most of it. It'll be all done in real time. So I hope that you can stick around for that. What we're going to do by way of introduction for this series is I'm actually going to explain to you a bit of a background as to why I love mixed brand coloring. Now, if you're not interested in the why behind the what, and if you would like to skip directly to the start of the coloring tutorial, you are most welcome to. We are going to be just doing the skin today, and then the next video is probably going to be the hair, all the clothing, and then the background as well. So I'm going to split it into 4 parts so we can hopefully deep dive the whole page. So feel free to skip ahead to the next chapter if you are not interested in my entire backstory as to why I color this way. If you have been following my channel for a while, you would have heard me discuss and also show you different ways that I organize my coloring pencils. And you would have seen the main method that I use is organizing pencils per brand in pencil cases, in branded pencil cases. So I would have one pencil case for my Prismacolor, the next for the Polychromos, or I'll just have them in a tin, etc., etc. And I would primarily just use one brand on a page. Sometimes I would use 2. For example, you might base with a watercolor brand and then go over the top with another dry pencil brand. So I have actually flipped the lid on all of that, and let me explain why. So when I started my coloring journey, for me, I was really enjoying organizing pencils by their brand, etc., etc. It was the way that I'd seen it done the most, and it was what helped me the best at the time to get familiar with my pencils. And don't get me wrong, this video is not going to be about why you shouldn't just stick with one brand. It's not about that, because I truly believe that everyone is made differently. We have unique characteristics, we have unique interests. The way we organize our art supplies and our coloring does vary per person. And if you are someone who really enjoys organizing your coloring by brand in pencil cases, and if you enjoy just using one brand on a page, that is fine. In fact, if that is you, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I'm very curious to hear how all of you store your pencils actually. Do you number them? Do you put them in color order, etc., with charts? So yes, I need to preface that from the start. This is not saying that you shouldn't do it. What has happened to me over the last few months is that I have discovered that my brain works differently and that I process things differently with my eyes, and I have adapted my coloring organization and my coloring admin, if you will, to suit those preferences. And it wasn't something that I really discovered, like I said, until a few months ago, and it's really just opened my eyes. Now, one of the things that I was finding for me personally, when I was organizing my pencils per brand in their own pencil cases and using one brand per page and not mixing my pencils at all, was that I would come to color a coloring page and I would almost come to like a fork in a road, and I couldn't decide what pencils I wanted to use because every pencil has different characteristics. And while I may have wanted to use, say, wax-based pencils for skin, I also may have wanted to use oil-based for hair. And so, yeah, the different purposes and the different uses for different types of pencils was really coming into play, and I was getting a little bit conflicted with that. And I found that I really wasn't able to combine the best of both worlds for me and how my brain works. the other thing too is that I don't know if you've noticed this about me, but I will chase after a very particular color and I might look at an image on Pinterest, for example, and see a certain type of blue, and it might not be like a pencil drawing. It might be like just any particular picture. And I may look at it and something will switch in me and I'm like, I have to chase after that specific color. I have to find it. I have to make it. I'm obsessed with it. And for me, it just wasn't available in some of the brands. For example, if I were to use Prismacolor, I'm obsessed with the Prismacolor reds and the purples. However, their greens, I'm a bit like, could take it or leave it. However, the color range of the greens in the Polychromos is my absolute favorite. Teals and greens are my favorite colors. And I found that I was like, well, what if I want to use the reds in the Prismacolor? And what if I want to use the teal in the Polychromos? What am I going to do? And I found that I'd have to just do this constant balancing act of which pencil should I use, like which brand. And I had known and I had seen that a lot of people use mixed brands across the page, their pages, especially if they're drawing artists as well. And I'd seen a lot of people store their pencils in different ways and I'd been meaning to take the jump and it just took forever. And I was really scared to do it because I'd only known the one way. For some reason in my mind, I was like, oh, once I change it, I can't change it back. But that's wrong. You can. If you are someone that is thinking of, oh, I don't know if organizing pencils by brand suits me, I'm thinking of trying another way, maybe this video is for you. The other thing that I noticed too is that I was favoring other brands over other ones. And so I think at the moment I have about 5 or 6 brands that I use. Not all of them are complete sets. Some are, some aren't. And I found that I will just favor, for example, Prismacolor and Polychromos over the other sets that I have. So the other sets include the Ohuhu Halawas and the Woomers as well. And there is a set of the Castle Art Harmonious as well. I would just focus on Polychromos or Prismacolor and I forgot about the rest. I'm definitely a person that is, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. I have to have it physically in front of me to be able to remember that I have it. So let me give you an example of how I store them now. I store them in cups via color group and I mix all the brands together. So let's see, this is my yellows. And when I started mixing them and just putting them all in a cup, so this is just like just a cup that I don't use and I just put them all in there. I came across a problem and I don't know if you can pick it by looking at these yellows. Tell me if you can see any issues. As soon as I started combining everything, I realized how many duplicate colors I actually have across brands. As I'm looking at this, I can see straight off the bat, there's about 5 duplicates of the one shade of yellow, if not more. I don't need that many. I really don't. I think if I were to add all my pencils up, and this is probably quite a conservative amount compared to a lot of people, I have 500 pencils-ish. Not all of them I use and not all of them are my favorites. I am working towards, and I think that I would prefer to maybe have 200 pencils and all of them are unique and have a unique purpose. There's hardly any duplicates other than if I wanted the same color in an oil-based and then in a wax-based as well. I would prefer to have a smaller amount, but each pencil to have a specific purpose than have multiple duplicates of everything. That's just me and the way I work. If you are someone that needs to have the full set and that's the only way that you're able to interpret and organize color, then that is absolutely fine. So got my yellows here. And for example, I also have my browns. I've just popped it there because you can see my ring light there and I don't like that reflecting. As you may know, I'm very obsessed with portrait color pages. I'm obsessed with skin combinations and all these different shades. When I started arranging my colors in buckets or in tubs, I immediately was opened up to a whole lot of options. Sometimes I can really struggle to visualize color combinations and coloring shades and stuff across the page. When I organized them into colors, it completely just changed the game for me. For example, I have all my skin tones in the one container. This is just a mug that I don't use. For me, as I'm looking at this visually, I can see so many color combinations that I want to try for flesh tones. So many. And I couldn't see this before. I really couldn't, but now I can see it and I'm so excited. So this is what it is opening up for me. I don't have every single thing here. So I organize them per color family. I have too many greens. So I've separated them into greens, teals, and blues. And some I've even separated into light greens and dark greens because I've just got too many and they don't actually fit in the mug. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy like 10 to 12 different like pencil holders. Just find some mugs that you're not using, some cups that you're not using. I'm sure that you've got plenty lying around your house. The only thing that I find with this is that the pencils need to be a certain height for them to be visible. For example, I've got a parrot green here, which is just too small. It's not. See if I can like hold this without it. It's not the height of the cup. So I actually went and purchased some dowel from Bunnings, which is the best hardware store in Australia, or the most popular. And I'm just going to add it onto the end so that the pencil will sit on the top. So I store them by colors, and then I also have all my blacks, whites, and the metallics, and the odds and ends, and the blender pencils in the one jar. And yes, I'm using a bone broth jar because I smashed through the bone broth. The only type of pencil that I don't group in color is watercolor pencils, purely because they're a different type of pencil. You can use them dry, but for me, it just makes sense to keep them because I purchased them open stock. So for example, here's my little set of Albrecht Dürers. Again, I'm trying not to have, 5 different teals that are the exact same shade in the exact same like dry pencil, for example. Ideally, I would prefer like, a specific type of teal in, say, like one in watercolor, one in Inktense, one in an oil-based, one in a wax-based, for example. That's just my aim. And you can see here, if you have been following my channel for a while, you would look at these colors and you would go, that is very Sarah. These are my favorite colors. So lots of, there's teal greens in there, some pinks and purples, because as you know, I like to color a lot of flowers. And then I also store my Derwent Inktense as well, for the moment, in their own tub as well. Their own tub. I keep saying tub, their own cup as well. Eventually, I might separate the watercolor into the color families. However, not at this stage, because having them separated just helps me to visualize what I can do. For example, if I wanted to do a watercolor background, I can just sit these down and go, right, what have I got? I've got a great amount of teals. I'm limited on the pinks, so let's do a teal background, for example. That's just loosely how it works. If I end up getting more, I'll probably spread them out, but this is how it works for now. See how there's no rules? It just is what it is. The other problem that I was running into, and I'm speaking specifically Prismacolor here. I love the Prismacolor, I really do. They have a lot of characteristics which are amazing. Their color range is amazing. Again, like I was saying, I love their purples, I love their reds, and oh gosh, like the creaminess of the oranges, like mwah, chef's kiss. However, as some of you would be aware as Prismacolor users yourself, or maybe you have no problems with them, the quality control for some of them drives me bonkers. There are about 5 or 6 pencils, maybe more, in the set, which I cannot use, and they cause me dramas all of the time. It doesn't matter where I buy a replacement pencil from, how many I've tried, there is a continual problem with a certain amount of colors. One of those being, now, I don't know if you find this, Clay Rose, right? Really nice color, muted pink, so it's got like pink and gray mixed in to make it that lovely color. I use this a lot for portraits, especially on paler flesh tones. The issue that I have with this is there is something in the recipe, and I don't know what it is, but it's not fully mixed. there is clumps of grey pigment in here that is supposed to bind with the pink to make it this blush pink colour that doesn't actually bind, and it sits there in clumps. And it's not like, you know how sometimes you get a pencil and there's like a hard little gritty thing in there and you can feel it, and if you rotate your pencil when you're colouring it kind of like gets rid of it. This is not a hard gritty thing, it's a waxy clump, and that you don't even know that's there until you colour, until it's too late. The amount of times I've come out with a grey clump on a cheekbone, for example, and I have to try and erase it is I couldn't count how many times it's happened. And yes, you can try and erase it, but when you're doing multiple dozens of layers with portraits, if you try and erase something, it's really hard to get just that layer off. And because the clumps that would come out of the clay rose are actually so like thick, yeah, it would actually just almost ruin my portrait, which is a real shame because it's a really nice color. So I've actually, I was in Officeworks today actually, finding a replacement for the clay rose in another brand, and I was testing them, and I came across the Mars Violet in the Derwent drawing. So that's Mars Violet 6470. This is an exact match, like 95% match, I should say. It's exact for me and my eyesight and my color interpretation. Remembering that color interpretation is relative too, so it's going to be different for everyone. But for me, it was an exact match, and I tested it heaps and I had no clumpiness come out. So the Derwent drawing, they're wax based as well, I believe. So for me, this is an excellent dupe replacement, if you will. So this is one of the reasons why mixing your brands can be good, because you can pull out the colors in one brand that you don't like and you can replace them with another. The other thing with the Prismacolor, the other one that I really struggle with, whoop, just dropped it. Now I've glued these together, is the white. For some reason with the white, it's not my friend. Number one, no matter what white I would buy, every pencil, it just has, it's like waxy on it. Sometimes I would even wipe it with a cloth, like a damp cloth, to try and get rid of the waxiness. It just sticks and I don't like it. I don't know if you guys have found that, but it's only the white pencil. And I find the white to be the most crumbliest out of all the Prismacolors, and it drives me nuts. And yes, I will say that when I use white, I am burnishing. I'm pressing pretty hard. So yes, that is going to happen. I understand. But if I'm going to be using a white for blending and burnishing and using it as a final layer, I actually want something, if it's possible, to find a wax-based pencil that does not crumble everywhere. And I think white is probably the most used pencil that I've chewed through, purely because I'm sharpening it so much, because they break and they crumble. So I purchased another white wax-based pencil to try, which again is the Chinese white from the Derwent drawing range. I have heard good reviews about these, so I'm going to try it. I'm not saying that this is my final decision. I might change my mind. There are other colours that I do want to replace. I tried finding a Prussian green replacement because I cannot stand the Prussian green. Again, if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that every time I use the Prussian green, it's broken. Again, it doesn't matter where I buy it from. It doesn't matter how careful I am with it. Every time I sharpen it, the whole core is just smashed down the middle, and it's a real shame. So I'm trying to look for a duplicate with that as well. I'm thinking of maybe looking at the Derwent Lightfast, or even like a Holbein or something like that. I'm going to try and find it. Arguably, I could just use the Prismacolor olive green, because it's very similar. It's slightly more brown. Okay, so that is a bit of a breakdown, if you will, as to how I've come to my conclusion that I'm a person that is really suited towards mixed brands. And I'm looking forward to, as I was explaining with the yellow, I'm really looking forward to actually just refining this down as I use them. Same like with the neons. I'm not going to use the neons. I'm really not. So now we have arrived to our colouring tutorial portion, and like I said before, we're going to start on the skin today. Now let me go through our colours that we're going to use. Alrighty, so we're going to use a few different brands today. So I do prefer to use wax-based pencils actually when I'm colouring skin, because I find that I prefer the look of wax-based, and I do like my skin tones to look quite mushy. In saying that, not all of the colour combination consists of wax-based pencils. Some will consist of oil-based. Most of it will be wax-based though. So the colours that I am going to be using today, and these will be up on the screen now, and also as I'm colouring, I will mention them as well. So the first one from the Polychromos, so this is an oil-based pencil. I have chosen Cinnamon 189. And I will explain why in a minute. Again, from the Polychromos, Sanguine 188. And then Beige from Prismacolor. So this is wax-based 997. So now we're moving into our wax-based colours. Burnt Ochre 943. Light Umber, which is 941 in the Prismacolor. Prismacolor again, Dark Brown 946. Prismacolor again, Dark Umber 947. And I have also got my white on standby, which is the Chinese white 7200, just to burnish any highlights. And I'm also going to have the Brown Earth in the Coloursoft, which is also a wax-based pencil, on standby as well if I need it. Now, a lot of the time with skin tones, I have my main colours and then I have colours on standby if I feel like I need to tweak anything. Now, this is a colour combination that I just made up. I wanted to go for a darker skin tone that is more of a warm base, so hence why I've got the sanguine colours here, and the beige as well, which is a bit of a warm colour too, and this brown here, the burnt ochre, which is warm colour as well. Now, the reason why I've got two Polychromos here is I have found of late I'm really enjoying doing my base layers in an oil-based. I was just finding that sometimes if I do the base layers in a wax-based, it'd just get a little bit clumpy. I can't really explain it. It's more the feel of it. And if you're someone that's very in tune with your pencils and you go by feel a lot and you get put off if things don't feel right, and you second guess yourself, you'll understand what I mean. Like I was saying, I do prefer to use wax for most because it's just how I like my skin tones to look. So we're going to start with the skin tone, but just as a reference for this whole page, I am thinking it's going to have a lot of yellows, like dusty dark yellows, some browns, oranges, a lot of teal as well. The teal will mainly be in the background for watercolor. So I'm going to start off with the cinnamon in the Polychromos, and apologies that I'm like doing this to try and find the camera. I'm getting used to it. So this is 189. So I'm going to start off with a light layer of this color. And if you are interested in another skin tutorial, I do have one up on my channel. I think it's in this book as well. So I'm going to do a light layer. I've been doing a lot of research on darker flesh tones of late because I'm very keen to dive into them. And I've noticed that on a lot of them, their highlight areas have these beautiful pinks, these beautiful beiges, beautiful white and creams in there too. So I'm going to include those as much as I can. So I'm just doing a light layer. You might not even be able to see this, so I apologize if you don't see this until a couple of layers. The other reason why I've chosen this particular pencil, there is a match in the Prismacolor, and that is peach. I do like it. However, sometimes it just doesn't sit right as well. like I was saying before, just with how like things can just feel too waxy too soon. Now, it's probably fairly obvious that I'm starting with light to dark. I do start with a structure. So I go light to dark, and then I just throw the structure out of the way and I just adjust as I go. So again, yeah, look, there's no rules. I have, yeah, it's loose, but it's not absolute. And I will just get in a little bit in the braids here because you'd see a little bit of the scalp, so I'll just cover it a little bit. I really want to experiment with some cooler dark skin tones as well, so add some greys and even some blues and some purples in. I've saved so many examples. I can't wait to try them. But yep, going for a warmer one today. I'm loving this already, this decision already. It just feels, I mean, I'm a bit obsessed with the Polychromos, to be honest. So just doing a light color everywhere. Again, see how I'm holding my pencil back, stopping me from pressing too hard, which with your oil-based, you are better off layering them. You can blend and burnish with just one layer, you can. Not all colors in the Polychromos will actually allow you to do that. There are some that will allow you. It's a lot easier, so I find that the oranges and the yellows you'll be able to do that, but primarily layering them is the better way to go and is what they're designed for. But again, you use them how you want because they're your pencils, right? I won't tell anyone if you don't. And I mentioned in my last video too that if there are any colors that I'm using today that you actually don't have, just do your best to try and do a rummage through your own set and see if you can find something that looks similar. You don't necessarily have to have the exact same pencils, but you can if you like. There are plenty of color alongs that I've done where I've gone out and purchased the pencils so I can be exact. And there's been other times as well where I've just made it up. So this is primarily the highlight color with that beige as well. And again, you're probably not going to be able to see this. On camera, but eventually you will. Many, many, many light layers. You could also, because these books are single-sided, you can actually, if you had like a super, super light alcohol marker or like a water-based marker, you could use that. Watercolor, yes, but just as long as you can get it really smooth. Or maybe you want to go for like a painterly look. Okay, that's the first layer of that, which we cannot see. Now, for me, I like to do sections, so I'll usually do the face and then the neck and then the rest. So most likely I'll probably talk you through the face and then potentially just do the next section silently, but show you the colors. We'll see, because I don't want to repeat myself too much, but at the same time, if there's any juicy bits of information that I want to give you, I don't want you to miss out on that either. So Fun times ahead. Alrighty, Roo. So the next color is Sanguine 188, again in the Polychromos. Again, if you don't have this, I think a good maybe terracotta or, I'm just thinking, I've got them right next to me. Mineral Orange could be a good dupe in the Prismacolor pencil. They are similar. Pumpkin Orange as well. See how you go. And I'm going to do this. This is going to cover 90% of what I've done. Yeah, roughly 90%. Like I was saying, I do want to maintain some highlights. I do want to maintain those peaches and beiges and whites for some highlights. It just makes it pop. It's just going to make the contrast look even better. And as we layer up all the colours through the hair, because even we'll have hair and skin tones blending together because of the braids, because you can see some of the scalp. I'm going to try and stay true to that as well. So again, I've picked another oil-based pencil because I just like the feel of them and the look of them as base layers. It's just nice. But again, this is just my preference. You do you, girlfriend. Let me know too in the comments. Of late, with my tutorials, I haven't added any music, and I've just let the silence of the video speak for itself. Let me know, are you someone that prefers music in videos? Do you like silence? Do you like the sound of birds if it's available? Do you like the scratching of the pencil? Let me know. Sometimes silence is nice. Sometimes music is fun too. All right, I'm going to start this little bit here. And I should have mentioned at the start, pencils nice and sharp so that we can get those layers in. What I love about Christine Karron's is that the shading's already there, so you just follow it. It's really great if you're just starting out with portraits and you're building up your muscle memory. Grab one of these. Just bringing that out. But like I was saying, I did not get this color combination from anywhere specifically. I actually just made it up. As I tried to color match a photo that I found on Pinterest. I won't show you that photo just for copyright reasons because it does belong to someone else. I don't know who it was. But what you can do as well, what I've seen a lot of people do, is if you find a reference photo that you like, save the photo and put it into somewhere like Microsoft Paint where you can actually grab the like color matcher tool and you can map out all the colors and it'll show you what colors are in there. And then you can pick your pencils that way. Now I did say that I'll be filling this up 90% with this color and I will. I'm just being cautious to begin with. I'll most likely add it in different areas the more layers I do. This is my initial mapping of where the colors go. The other good thing about the grayscale is it shows you where all the nose bits and where to get, because they're, I don't know about you, but they're the hardest bits sometimes. Knowing how to shade the schnoz. Bring this out a bit more. This color is not covering as much area as I would like. You may find that with the oil-based, with your base layers, you may find that it might be a little bit more scratchy, a little bit more hard than a wax-based, but at this point, to me, it doesn't matter because I'm doing so many layers. I'm not afraid of that because you won't see it in the end. The reason why all base is good is because it maintains a sharper tip for longer. You don't have to sharpen it as much. So it is good for things like hair, where you want to maintain that. And hint, hint, I will be using Polychromos for the hair. Right, I am going to go through with another layer of that first color, which again is that cinnamon in the Polychromos. I'm just going to do another layer again. The good thing about layering is that you can just go back and forth between your colors and just build it up. Build it up, Buttercup. Now it looks like I'm going back and forth, but I'm actually doing very like elongated ovals. So I'm not like scribbling harsh like that. Just if you are wondering on a technical level what the method is. Again, good luck seeing this color on camera. In a general sense, if you are working with both as well, both oil-based and wax-based, generally you would do your oil-based first and finish with your wax-based because that's what's going to be the best smush. However, if you prefer differently, then that's cool too. Like I was saying, I just really enjoy the oil base as a layer if I'm not basing it in something else. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the wax base, which is the Burnt Ochre 943 in the Prismacolor. And I'm still going to apply the same technique, the same pressure, the same everything. Even though I'm moving to a wax-based pencil, I'm not really changing the way that I'm using it. They are softer. And at this point, I'm still very comfortable with moving back to the oil base as well. It won't be a problem. Like I've said, I do prefer to go back and forth with my layers. And just lightly with this, with the scalp, very lightly. This is probably going to be a combination of finishing off the scalp when I do the hair too. I'm just going to map in some initial colour. I'd consider this burnt ochre in the Prismacolor. I'd consider this part of the lighter colours, part of the highlights. Really, it's the last colour before we start getting in those deeper, richer browns. It's like the transition colour. And as you're probably noticing as well, there is no set direction that I'm really working on. I'm just applying colour as feels organic, and I'm just building it up. So I'm just looking at a spot and going, oh, that next. And I've just completely forgotten the ear. So I need to go back and do that. You could almost say that you pair this color with that one previous. You could almost say that you apply them in the same areas, almost, because they are very similar in shade and they serve a similar purpose. I do just like the way they both work together. Oh, it's got a bit scratchy there. That's all right. Many layers fix all things. All right, I'm going to start just to work onto the next color, which is the light umber 941. So I'm just going to, again, start to map out the colors. It doesn't mean that I'm not going back to any of the other colors. I will. I'm just really seeing where I want everything. I'm going to rotate my page a little bit. Still bringing this out a fair whack. I've got two darker colors to even add. I may even add more shades. I do have other ones on standby just in case, because sometimes, yes, you can plan out what you want to do, but sometimes you're really not going to know until you're in it what other colors you're going to add. So I'd always recommend not being married to a particular combination. Always have other stuff on hand just in case. I find this light umber just really works with those ready browns. This one's more of a yellowy brown, so still all warm. They're still all warm browns. Just headbutted my light. Yeah, I can see on the forehead here, I'm really starting to pick up the colors and the tone that I'm after. It's really, how do I describe this? An organic thing. So please don't feel like portraits are unattainable or that using multiple brands are unattainable because I'm using so much language at you. So please don't feel like you're not ready for it. I encourage you to have a go because you would be surprised at how much will actually come out organically and how much you will just feel the process and you'll know what to do. It might not be straight away, but it will come. So I do encourage you just to have a go. With any colouring page, I generally will go with the skin tones first. I find that it just sets the tone for everything else, and it's actually what I'm most excited to colour with most portraits. Look, I feel like I just messed up a bit there. It's all right. Let me just smooth it out. It's a thing too, if you're going in light layers and if you mess it up, just go over it. You'll soon be able to hide it. Like I was saying, if you were with me for my little introduction where I was explaining why I use mixed brands now and replace some colours. So for example, that clay rose with the Prismacolor, I'd find that I would be doing this with it, these portraits, and randomly I'll just have this big grey smudge, and you'd be able to tell that that is not what you want. It's not at all what you want when you're doing a portrait, because every layer, like, yes, every layer matters, but while you can correct mistakes like I did there, because we're doing light layers, I just found that with that grey, I just couldn't correct that. It was coming out. I just could not correct it for the life of me. I don't know why. Scratchy bit. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my brush away. Move on to the dark brown, which is PC946 in the Prismacolor. So this is my second darkest colour. And I'm just going to go over the shadow areas. To start off with, and then we'll adjust. So again, I've got the same amount of pressure. I might be pressing a little bit harder towards the outside, but the inside is definitely still extremely light. All right, I'm going to adjust a little bit down the bottom, add a bit more, and then I'll work onto the darkest colour and just keep adjusting. I do need to bring out some of those lighter mid-tones again. They're still way too light. I reckon, oh, maybe I'm about halfway with the colours. How long have I been colouring for? Like nearly an hour and I'm halfway. So guys, this could take a long time. Portraits do. But I really like it. They're my favourite thing to do. Because you can just spend so long building up those colours. It's just such a meditative process. You just get lost in it. Oh, I'm really liking the way all these colours are coming together too. I'm liking this, what have I got? Dark brown, and how it's kind of reacting with and mixing with the lighter colours that I've placed down. I like it. You know when you do something and you're like, ooh! It's that. I love it. All right, I'm going to move on to the final color, well, potentially the final color. I'm going to see how it's all working together, which is dark umber in Prismacolor 947. So again, still with the wax-based pencils. Part of what also influences my decision as well is not just the pencil type, but also just like the color of the pencil. I really like the dark browns in the Prismacolor. They're really rich. So just mostly sticking to the shadow areas for this. I will drag it out if I just want to adjust the color of another area. Because as you would notice with skin tones, when you're applying a color down, like you're not coloring it so much that's all you see. You're seeing all the other colors too. And it's more about the relationship. I feel like I bang on about this all the time, but it's the relationship between how the colors work together and how they look together, that optical mixing. I don't want to bring it out too much because I'm liking how the tones are beginning to form in the lighter areas. With your darkest color, yeah, don't bring it out too much because it can end up just looking a bit flat. You could certainly wait a little bit and then bring it out later if you need to. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. Still a little bit there. And I'm actually going to go right back to those first 3 colors I used. Now, I haven't used the beige yet. I'll probably use that at the end to burnish, most likely. So I want to go back in with the burnt ochre 943 in the Prismacolor. Because I want to start bringing some of those lighter midtones out as well, because we're still looking quite pale in the center here. So I'm going over the whole, all of it. So I'm not just starting in the space that has less pencil. I'm going right to the edge where I've even just done the darker colors. A lot of the times with portraits as well, just stop for a bit, look at what you're doing, assess your work, walk away for a bit, then come back. You have more control over your pencil than you realize. So for me, I'm always continually assessing what I'm doing. I'm just assessing how the color's going, how the tone's going. Is it starting to travel in a direction that I don't want it to? If it is, again, have a bit of a break, just stop, stand back and look at it from a different perspective. And then once you have established what tones you want to bring out next, then continue on. It's a bit heavy there with it. Got a bit of a line there. It happens. It happens. I'll cover it up eventually. But heck, if there's a mistake in this, it really doesn't matter. This isn't going on art exhibition anywhere. I'm not commissioning this. No one's paying me thousands of dollars for this portrait. It is okay. Yep. I feel like I didn't do that right. Doesn't matter. I feel like, yeah, that I want to point out every time I feel like I make a mistake because I kind of want to show you how often it happens. Because you may watch people color portraits and you think, oh, they get it perfect, but that's not the case. Little slips, little mishaps happen all the time. And so I kind of just want to break that, not stigma, but that whatever it is that gives us the impression that mistakes don't happen. They do. Okay, let me just show you. So I'm choosing to sharpen my pencil soon. And I'll show you what it looks like so that you can kind of see, all right, you know, at this point, consider sharpening your pencil and that, yeah, how sharp your pencil generally should be, or what I would consider good for me. And it's coming up soon because most sides are looking quite flat. And that would be maybe that point. Like it still looks a little bit sharp, but it's flat in some areas. I still could, on the top side there, I still could use that side, but I'm going to sharpen it. Oh, I'm absolutely loving how this is coming out. Yay. Winning. And I just love doing these type of tutorials. Like I just love doing the sitting down there and just doing a deep dive. Regardless of how long you actually stay for. I'm so glad you're here. Even if you've got to put me on double speed. All good. Oh, getting a bit blotchy there. Sometimes that can happen because of the angle of your hand as well. Which, again, it's all good. See how much highlight I'm leaving? And I'm working my way inwards. So you might be someone that sticks to the one skin tone. I was for ages because I was very afraid of doing other tones because, yeah, I was just scared of not getting it right because I was just used to certain colors. But I really encourage you to experiment with different types. Because really, the method is the same. You're just using different colors. I'm starting to press a little bit harder in some areas. I'd call it more of a medium to light pressure other than like, you know, fully light. Medium to light now. Just a little bit though. Again, it's one of those things where you'll feel that you're able to go a little bit harder on the pressure. You'll just feel it. You'll feel it in your waters. Oh, I'm really hoping that you can see how this is coming up on camera properly the way that I can see it. And I won't know until I edit this, so I'm hoping that I don't sound really silly, but I'm just loving the way that this is coming together. I've never done this specific combination before, so it's always a bit of a gamble, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just try it. And if I mess it up, I can correct it on camera, or I could, you know, just scrap the video if I have to, but so far, loving it. Yay, winning. Not even like, winning's not the word. It's like enjoying myself. Yeah, so I really encourage you to have a crack. Grab your pencils. If there's a skin tone that you've been really wanting to try, give it a go. I am going to go through with my darker colors again, but not yet. All right, I'm going to move up in the lightness category. We're going back to our Polychromos. So this is Sanguine 118. Again, in the Polychromos, any oil-based pencil, any pencil, really, any pencil. But oil-based if you can, if you're following along. I'm just doing the whole lot again. I think next I'm going to bring out that light umber. I'm just, yeah, going to adjust that tone again. I'm going to cover over most of the area, but like super lightly, because I do want to bring that cinnamon in as the highlight. But I don't want to lose it though. I want to lose those really light spaces. I do want to maintain them as much as I can. Cinnamon 189. Lightly with this, not really pressing too hard with the oils at all. Number one, because like I'm not really wanting to blend anything just yet with it. Number two, because you probably wouldn't with the oil base anyway. It's just more like color placement. Okay, I'm going to change direction now. Light umber. I'm going to adjust the dark colors right way, Sarah. 941, light umber in the Prismacolor. And again, it's just going back and forth between your colors until you get as much color down as you want to. I always find that I need more than I think I do. If you want to speed up the process or just try something different, you could also try odorless mineral spirits. That is something that I have not used, but I'm very interested in learning. I've seen a lot of artists use them for pencils and create beautiful background work, beautiful blended colors. Alrighty friends, let's move on to our next darkest colour. And I am looking at another mid-tone as well that I want to adjust with. So this is back to the dark brown, PC 946. Really just going to try and get in those shadows there. Pressing a little bit harder at this stage because I do have a lot of colour down. I've been colouring for nearly an hour and a half. Funny. So I will, when I burnish, I'm not going to burnish the beige over everything because I'm actually burnishing with the darkest colour, because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes if you burnish with your lightest colour over everything, it's going to wash out your darks just a little bit. So just something to keep in mind. It depends on your pencils and all of that. Yeah, it does depend, but I think in this scenario, yeah, I'm not going to burnish with the beige over everything. Might look a little bit too, how you going? I feel like I've neglected the chin. Sorry, chin. Just lightly here. I don't want to go too... I don't want it to match that because that's just too much shadow. You have some, but not heaps. Yeah, I'm starting to, like I was saying at the start, with darker skin tones, you still want to have a really bright highlight because that's what's going to look stunning, in my opinion. As I'm coloring, it's kind of even more confirming that with me because I feel like the darker your skin tone, the more dramatic your highlights should be. It's just, yeah, I feel like you just get a more dramatic look. Because that contrast just speaks volumes. I really, really like it. Now I'm going to go that dark umber, PC947 in the Prismacolor. Again, just building up those colors. Just building up those shadows a little bit. So I am getting to the stage. I reckon I'm like 3/4 done. How's it looking on camera? Yeah. I reckon I'm going to burnish with a couple of colours. Definitely with that beige. And I might burnish in the darker areas with like that burnt ochre that we've been using. And just a tip, when you start to burnish and you're actually not quite sure if it's going to work, just start on a really like inconspicuous area like here, and then just work your way outwards, and you'll pick up very quick if it's the right color. And if it's not, you can quickly change it without noticing it too much. You can test on a scrap piece of paper, but it's not always going to be exactly the same because we've applied that many layers. feel like I haven't given the nose a lot of attention either. Or the ear for that matter. Okay. I reckon first I'm just going to adjust back with that light umber again. I just want to go over that a little bit more with the 941 in the Prismacolor. Just a little bit. I feel like on the forehead. Just a bit more of that. Oh, I feel like there's like a bit of something in this pencil too. It's a bit gritty. Maybe it has a pigment in it that's just not great. I don't know. Something's in it. I'm just getting a few streaks. I'm pressing a lot heavier here. Heck, this pencil. Just go this a little bit, match that one. All right, I'm almost pretty happy to start. Just a bit more over here. I'm just going so lightly with it. All right, so now I'm going to grab the Burnt Ochre 943 and I am going to start to burnish more of the area. Just going to start from, again, a bit of an inconspicuous spot. Or inconspicuous, an area that I know definitely needs it, but an area where I'm starting with dark and working to light. I'm not going to go smack bang on the cheekbone and burnish like that. I'm bringing it out. I took a long time to say that one sentence. Lol. And I'm just going to taper off around those really highlighty bits because, yeah, I don't want to burnish with this colour over that. Even like, so this colour that I'm burnishing with, I'm also just applying light layers of it over the areas that I want to burnish with the beige. Gosh, I hope this makes sense. When I do these type of videos, as I'm talking to you, I always feel quite muddled, but then when I listen to it back to it when I'm editing, I'm like, yeah, nice one, good. You were better than you thought in terms of clarity of words. Go me. But yeah, we'll see. I do have the my Prismacolor white and the Chinese white on standby in case I want to add white. I'm thinking beige is going to be better, but we shall see how the cookie crumbles. Yeah, I don't know if I want to use it to burnish these. Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, and it's mush around here too. Oh well. Hear those little footsteps? That is my little doggy. Or my big dog. One of them, the hairy one. Okay, I'm going to start to test some areas with the beige. So it's Prismacolor Beige 997. I'm going to test. And we're going to see I'm going to see if this, if I've got all the colours that I need. Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Around here, I'm actually not pressing hard here. I'm varying my pressure. Starting lightly and then getting as I go, because it's like I'm just testing it before I actually start pressing really hard. Part of it is a little bit yellow in some areas, but I can actually adjust it. So you can, even though technically, like you're not supposed, like you technically can't, you technically can add on top if you want to. Going to go lightly because I'm almost wondering if I actually want to burnish with a wax peach. Just wondering if this beige is potentially too light. On camera it looks way too light, so I'm just going to go in with a bit of this cinnamon again and just see. It's probably going to get to the point where I will need to just burnish with the Prismacolor Peach. I'm not going to burnish with an oil pencil. I mean, you could keep adding layers until it burnishes, but yeah, let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Prismacolor Peach 939. I can go over and just, yeah, that beige is too light. I'm even just going to bring it just in really slowly. It's also quite light. Hence what I mean, like you can start with a color combination, but bring in other colors. You're not always going to know what's going to work 100% until you get in the trenches. Bring the peach over here. Maybe I want to go white. Thoughts. It's a Thursday today. Thinking Thoughts Thursday. Thinking other thoughts. I feel like we need to readjust with some more burnt ochre, actually. Yeah, better. Saved it. Bring up a couple here. A bit more. See, you can go over it. Like, it won't be as smooth, but you can go over burnished areas. It's just, yeah, it might be a bit gluggy. I think adding the peach was good though, because I still like to have a little bit of a pinky undertone in spots, because skin naturally does anyway, because of the blood flow that is through the skin. A bit more of the nose. Again, I just want to preserve these highlights. They're so nice. Or from what I can see anyway. Now, when I originally said we're going to do the rest of the skin together, potentially I'm just going to do a time lapse for you, because it's going to be the same, exactly the same process, the same pencils. And I have been filming for 2 hours on the skin alone, minus the introduction. So it's going to be even longer what you're seeing. So I will speed it up so that the video isn't like 5 hours plus. That would be hilarious. I'm just going to add washes of it because I'm going to go in with the white, I reckon. All right, let's bring in the Derwent drawing white, the Chinese white. Let's have a go with that. Let's start with the bit of the chin. Bit of the nose here. The forehead, just going to bring it out. There's a nice white. Oh, it's so hard too. I like it. It's like waxy soft, but also hard. Like it's not crumbling everywhere. Dang, I like that. Chinese white for the win, guys. Oh, that is so good. Like I've been pressing so hard and look at that. And this is a wax-based pencil. I mean, according to AI. I asked it when I was in the shop. And it told me it was. Bring it up just a little bit. Oh, I like this white. Oh yeah. This is my favorite. Pencils are nice too. Oh yeah. Oh, too white there, but I can fix that. Heck. Oh, that is mighty fine, that pencil. Oh, I'm just in love with this pencil. Oh. Okay, I went too far over there, but you know. Yes. Yes, girl. Seriously, grab yourself a Derwent drawing Chinese white. Again, do yourself a favour. $5. That's the price of a coffee. Get yourself this pencil. If you have this and already use it and you love it, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you hate it. I'm interested as to why. Not because I want to prove you wrong, but because I just like to know why people think things. I like to know people's experiences. Oh, yes, this is the best white ever. I wonder if I'm going to go in with the Coloursoft, the chocolate alternative, the brown earth, and I'm going to see what that does. I'm pressing quite harder with it. This is, yeah, the Prismacolor chocolate alternative. See what vibe this gives. Oh, I just love pencils. Oh yeah, this gives it a nice tone. Let's just go around it. It's almost like a yellowy tone, like a browny yellowy tone. Much warmer, which I kind of like. I'm actually really digging that. Guys, It's a little bit exciting. Again, this is, it's a warm, it's a warm brown, so it works. To me anyway. You might look at it and go, ew. Oh, my hat. Gosh, I was so like not happy with Derwents for so long. I think because I only had the Derwent Studios. And now I'm using other brand of Derwent things and I'm just like, get in my belly. This is awesome. I want all of them, but I won't because of what we discussed earlier, if you were with me in that video. Now, I'm not going to go over everything because then she's just going to look too yellow, but just some of the areas, and I'm just going to adjust it. And this is also going to work because what I'm going to do is her clothing's going to be quite brown and yellow as well, so this is going to match. This is delicious. In my opinion anyway. If you don't think it is, that's fine. We can still be friends. Just adding in little bits. Oh. What I'd thought to do, and I think I was going to do anyway, is, yeah, like I said at the start, replacing the Prismacolors, even other brands too that I don't like, with other brands that I do in individual colors. So maybe I'll just, yeah. Oh, these are great. This is a mighty fine pencil. I could sit here and adjust for ages, and I probably will. So what I'm going to do now, because we are quite well into the depths of this video in terms of time, I'm going to complete the rest of this skin so you can see it. And I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to use the exact same colors that I've showed you so that there will be no new colors. If there are, I am definitely going to pop it up on the screen for you. I will speed this up to a time that will be an appropriate length for the video. I don't know exactly what that's going to be now, but I will speed it up a little bit so that you can still see the process, because I did promise you that you would see the entire process for this entire page, and I'm going to hold my promises to you, you know, because I'm that kind of gal. So feel free, if you want to end it here, that's fine. If you want to keep watching and see the whole thing, awesome. there we have it, guys. There is our completed skin tone. I could 100% keep going back in and adjusting things, and I probably will, to be honest, once all the hair and the clothing and everything else is done. There's always some adjustments that I can do. So I think the next video we are going to focus on the hair and the rest of the facial features, I think, and then after that we can do the clothing and the jewelry and then the background. So these are all the pencils that I have used. Look at all those brands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different brands for the one skin tone. Now I have still kept the peach and the beige here, even though I use them so sparingly, but I've kept them there anyway, just in case maybe you don't have the cinnamon. A peach might be a really good substitute for you. So there you go. So I will catch you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.